Welcome everybody to October 2018. This energy that is coming in here with October is an energy of correction. Not correction as in correction facility, as it coming from a place of judgment or, having done something wrong. Now it's coming from a place of improvement. Okay, so what can I or must I, not must, but you know what I mean, refine? Many of us since April have already brought shifts and changes into motion, but for most of us more sort of in a half-ass way. So we did kind of like the most painful part, okay, and then we got kind of suckered into our complacency again. And this is what October is bringing in. That's why I use the word blind spot, because the mind is like, oh, but you've already done this and this and this and this. That's good enough compared to others, But this is not what you came here for, guys. So you didn't come here, to compare yourself with others or to perform in a certain way. You came here to fulfill a deeper soul purpose that is fulfilling for you and gives your life meaning. And so this part of the self-reflection and self-healing journey is not done with thinking. This part is done with feeling. Does this feel true to me? Do I really want to be here? Do I really want to live my life this way? Do I really want to be in this relationship for the rest of my life? Do I really want to do this TikTok job for the rest of my life or working life? That's what I mean with correction. Let's jump into the forecast here for October, the more official, sort of public part. So the energies that are coming in here for October 2018 are quite overwhelming for many of us. Just these past couple of days here, the end of September has brought in a lot of overwhelming physical, emotional, and mental sensations. So many of us are probably still dealing with this here on September 28th. But what this is sort of bringing in is, the ultimate transformation energy. Okay, so we all know, and everybody's talking about this, that there's a lot of change coming, and that the world, the politics, the finances, all that is changing, and we're witnessing all of this, and we're aware of this. But a lot of times things happen, in such a slow pace. I've compared this with growing hair or growing fingernails. It happens so slow that you don't really notice it as it happens. But then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, this is real. My hair is really long, or I need to do something about this. And in that sense, October is this kind of month that brings in this sort of facing reality energy. So we are recognizing, we are seeing change now. And we are also seeing how we relate to that change. So what does this do to me? Do I want to be a part of this? Do I want to, create change in my personal life? Many of us have already started setting shifts and changes into motion. This was a big part of April energies. And at this point, I want to point your guys' attention to the April forecast and also some of the energy updates that I recorded in April, because you're going to feel reminded on some of these processes that were going on there. They're coming back, okay? This is a revisiting, recalibrating and realigning process here in October. And especially the first half of October is going to be very, very powerful in regards to what we can do now, what we can change now, what we can implement now will drastically shift, our future here for, the coming years. So if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, then just remind yourselves to stay in this equilibrium of your inner balance. Don't get freaked out just because you're realizing, oh shoot, things are changing, but how am I going to pay my bills, or how am I going to handle this? You're going to have to let this go, because you won't be able to figure this out with your mind. You have to learn how to become a good energy manager and a good self-master, so to speak, and learn that it's okay to trust in your abilities and all the work that you have done so far, because it will allow you to adapt. It will allow you to come up with the right solutions at the right time, but only if you can stay present. So staying present, staying in, the center of your center, your inner sanctum, which will also provide somewhat of a safe space for you in the face of like sort of outer energies really speeding up. It can provide something like the eye of the hurricane for you, okay? And you will find that there's not much space to maneuver in this eye of the hurricane, so you get to stay completely present at all times. And the issues that come with this, they will most likely be in regards to how we perceive reality. Okay, so do we like what we are seeing? Do we have mechanisms in play, programs and patterns, that allow us to check out, or allow us, to numb, or allow us to avoid reality? Those need to be faced. The more we avoid, the more we check out, the more anxiety and powerlessness we will feel in October. And I want to stress this out here, because I'm talking to a community of consciously awakening souls here. And I hope that, the audience here on YouTube is aligned to this as well. But if you think that things are going fast right now, starting 2020, things are going to speed up manifold. And this is why I called the incoming energies of October, which is attached to this video, the last practice round. We as empaths and energetically sensitives, who for the most part, especially the older ones amongst us, have gone through a lot of ridicule, a lot of trauma, a lot of really fringe dwelling and clashing realities, and never really felt we belonged. Okay, we are now at a point where we can. Doesn't necessarily mean that all of you will, but if you are present, you will recognize how all these decades, okay, of seeing things differently than other people were nothing but an opportunity to practice what is to come. The majority of the collective has not had that opportunity, and will therefore have much bigger issues with this. So out of this community, guys, this 10-15% part of our populace, a lot of you will emerge as guides, teachers, supporters, empowerers, people who will, see that because they've had so much practice in all this suffering, quote unquote, they are actually now at the forefront. They're actually now, in the part, they're now making up the part of the population that doesn't have to be afraid, because you're so used to this. You will recognize all that you've already learned. So the biggest obstacles here in October, come from our ego, and the ego, as most of you know, is like the first responder team, the part in us that responds to threat, tries to anticipate, anything that could potentially be harmful, and also comes up with relatively rigid, ways to approach it. So one of the biggest obstacle here, or part of what we will be discovering in October that is holding us back is our own rigidity, is our own beliefs, you know, and our own ego programs, you know, that have gotten us so far. They cannot get us through what is to come. And so for most of us, this you know, being forced to face reality will have to lead to new strategies. And especially the first half of October is extremely well suited energetically to go into a makeover of our approach, to go into new strategies. You know, if you are dealing with physical issues, you know, and the physical issues, they're always showing us sort of the our sort of lowest vibratory, our densest ego resistance. Okay, if you're dealing with physical stuff, you know, then understand that this is the survivor part in you. Okay, the core of your ego that is resisting here. Okay, and you need to find out what it is that you can change as a strategy, you know, to allow your body, you know, to be more in tune with all this. And even if a new strategy is as simple as stretching for 5 minutes every day or drinking more water. Emotionally new strategies apply in a way that you know, the fearful part in us, you know, the part in us that feels like it's overwhelming, and you know, that feels powerless, and that feels, you know, where our anxiety and our suffering is located. This is the part in us that is linked to the pain of the past. Okay, our emotional layer of our being, you know, is the inner child and the karmic family aspect of us. Okay, and here, you know, the new strategy has to be, you know, letting go of our checkout and avoidance mechanisms of the past, because they are the ones that keep re-traumatizing us, that keep pulling us back into our pain, into our fear, into our guilt. Mentally, you know, this you know, in times of uncertainty, it's very common for people to feel a little lost. They don't believe in anything anymore, you know. They don't believe in politics. They don't believe in spirituality anymore. They don't believe in nothing. Everything, you know, is falling apart. And so there comes an unconscious sort of a tendency in us forward that becomes sort of very positionalized, you know. So you know, we tend to be sort of nihilistic, you know, negate everything, or you know, we become relativistic, you know. And so you know, we need to check our approach here, you know, in regards to righteousness, in regards to being focused of you know, well, see, I predicted this 20 years ago. You know, this is a form of rigidity, is a form of resistance. Okay, and socially, and this is you know, the part of our existence here that primarily expresses in our false self. You know, like how we present ourselves, and you know, sort of seeing ourselves through the eyes of others, you know, and it is, you know, it determines our approach, how we face reality. And here, you know, a new strategy could be, you know, something that has to do obviously with the true self, with authenticity and becoming real, you know, and also you know, really going into a deeper relationship with ourselves, but without trying to analyze it all, without trying to figure it out, with just being present with ourselves and asking ourselves, you know, do I really feel, you know, true when I'm saying this, when I'm with this person? Is this, you know, expansive for me? You know, is there a mutual exchange? Is this conducive for me here? You know, and you know, the approach or the new strategy that you might want to develop here will entail letting go of people that are really not conducive for you. You know, and you know, in business and career, you know, the layer of our existence that has to do with energy exchange, you know, money for energy. This approach has been really rigid in the past as well. You know, where most of us were caught in this sort of TikTok wheel, you know, and yes, if you want to make money, you're gonna have to dot dot dot. And of course, here's also where mindset and beliefs and scarcity comes in, you know, something that is very strongly promoted by the media and the collective matrix, namely through belief sets such as no pain, no gain. You know, you have to work hard to succeed. You know, and October energies will teach us that, you know, becoming co-creator really means not only you know, going through the different layers of our ego and you know balancing this out and becoming more, you know, just aware of this, but also putting this into action in, you know, all these different areas of our life, as well as, you know, how we work, how we make money, how we you know, sort of express and actualize our value for society. And I mentioned this earlier, out of this group here, you know, a large percentage of you will feel this urge or this prompting, if you haven't done so already, to go into new ways of making money, to go into ways of you know, becoming of service to others, even if it's challenging for you. You know, even if you have isolated yourself for many years, you know, or you know, because you felt that the collective was kind of hostile energetically. Yes, it is, but you know, your isolation hasn't really helped with that. So, you know, you can find your own way. You can find your own panda style, you know, of bringing your service out into the world, and you can, you know, utilize all these new technologies that are emerging right now, such as, you know, online businesses and social media. You don't have to, you know, categorically stay away from them because, you know, they're sort of all based on ego. Yes, they are, but this is also a way to reach people. And there's a lot of people out there, you know, that require guidance and that want, you know, this sort of self-reflection or guided self-reflection or even mentorship, but don't even know where to start. They would never go to church, they would never go to an energy healer, they would never go you know, to a startup group or anything like that. So here it's very important to understand that the way you can express your service to the world, to society, and the value that comes with this, you know, what you can get for this in exchange, needs an overhaul. So being you know, sort of stuck in old ways, you know, will not be beneficial for you. So October is the way, if you already have your own business or you're already in the process of you know, forming or, you know, developing a strategy for a business, then this is the month for a marketing strategy, you know, for really looking at where the pulse of people is, you know, and how to reach them. And it's also the time where, if you feel this sense of urgency, if you feel this, you know, sense of act now type of energy coming in for you, you know, to go into you know, asking for help and networking and seeing what kind of people you could do this together with, because, you know, when two or more come together, especially in regards to business, you can not only you know, share your resources, you can also create a really beautiful synergy, you know, because just think of sort of office communities or something like this, you know, where, you know, one is a acupuncturist, the other one is a massage therapist, the other one is a counselor, and the third one is an energy healer. You know, there's a beautiful synergy that arises out of working together, not just for you guys as business owners or practitioners, but also for the client, you know. Um, Spiritually, you know, the way October energies will force us to overhaul or to refine or to correct our strategy is going to be a little tricky, guys, because your inner warrior, that is usually the one that comes forward for people in times like this, will get triggered, okay? And there'll be a lot of talk about peace and war, and you'll see a lot of outer structures, beginning to crumble, and it will be very difficult for you to find a sense there. So our inner warrior, and especially the unhealed inner warrior, it tends to just want to, just destroy it all, or check out entirely, not want to be a part of it. Here, the approach has to be a little more mature, and you really have to see that self-responsibility is nothing to worry about. Most people are afraid of self-responsibility because it makes them feel like they become responsible, and in the English language, unfortunately, this is the same word, because they feel that it's all on them, and it triggers guilt, it triggers shame and judgment in us. So we got to understand that moving into self-responsibility and self-mastery is a strategy that helps us grow. It's very mature to say, I am taking on, another level of responsibility, especially the kind for my own life, because as I am engaging in it, as I am fully taking, this consciously, voluntarily taking on this task, I am also beginning to self-actualize, and I'm growing with my challenges, with my responsibilities. So many of you, especially in this in spiritual circles, contextualize all these changes as like sort of higher power coming over you, and there's nothing we can do. This is this is a con job of your ego. This only happens to you if you've externalized your source of power in the first place. This is your call for action, guys. This is your call for going in and recognizing that change starts from within. And if you imprison yourself out of fear, or out of, I don't know, this spirituality, is all about non-infringement and, just sort of living in the flow. No, you're never going to get anywhere with this, and you are not self-actualizing, and you are not living your soul's purpose. It's another con job. Those of you who are thinking about, forming your own business, starting something new, on your own, or in synergy with others, allow this increased responsibility that comes through that, through working with clients. Allow this to make you grow as well. All this checking out and numbing out, guys, when you have a business and you're working with people, it will call you on your highest virtues. It will not allow you to check out for prolonged amount of times. It will keep you in check. It will keep you on your toes. But not in the TikTok sense, where you wear yourself out for other people, or for other businesses, or for institutions or governments that you don't even agree with. No. Where you grow with your own commitments to your soul purpose. This is what practical spirituality means. Energetically, the layer of our true self is basically, the layer of, represents the energetic layer of ourselves. So, for me, I'm looking forward to October, because it will show you the truth of your own true self. And it will probably lead to you having to make some kind of choice down the road, probably in the second half of October. Because guess what? You cannot lie to your energetic self. Your energetic reality is absolute, and your true self is connected with this. Your ego is in your, is connected to your 3D reality. And there, you can have all these mental and emotional and spiritual con jobs, that, trick you or distract you out of being fully present with your truth. But your true self and, your energy body don't lie. And you can't, most of you that are in this self-healing and awakening journey, you will clearly see this. And if you have physical ailments, guys, that come in sort of a repetitive nature or chronic nature, and they keep flaring up, it is time for you to recognize that these things are part of your energy signal, your energy system signaling you that you are resisting something there. It's a con job, guys, your physical condition. So no, your physical pain is real, it's absolutely real. But the causation and how your mind and your emotions, and your body tricks you into thinking, oh, this is some outer thing. No, it's not an outer thing, it's an inner thing. Everything has to go somewhere. Every energy has to go somewhere. Your anger, your judgment, your negativity, your suffering, your victimhood has to go somewhere. And where do you think it's going to get stored? It's getting stored in the densest level of your existence here in 3D, and that is your body. So it's time to take responsibility for that and to treat your body, as as a vital part of your inner guidance system. This is, I know it sounds a little serious, but there's a reason why, especially, since April, people really having a hard time physically. And if you don't want to succumb to this, guys, then work with your body and work with your energy. This will be one of the major things that will be initiated here in October. To me, October feels like January. It's like a new start to a degree. It's a new start into, absolute self-mastery. And interestingly enough, if I look at the dynamics of the energies, I can clearly see how the stuff that is coming in here, in the first half of October, actually, really sort of drags out into January. So this is your last practice round, guys. October till January 20th, 21st. Okay, it's your last practice round. After that, you got to have a strategy. Okay. A question that I have been getting since I've published the incoming October energies. There's two questions, and we're going a little over time here, but I do want to let you know how to approach this. There's a question in regard to preparedness. What I meant with preparedness, and if this means that things are going to clash. Yes, October also has an October revolution nature to it, and there will be things in the practical that will clash now. Preparedness, I mentioned this in the last energy update from yesterday, does not mean to go into a neurosis or anxiety about things, but to really understand what your values and priorities are, and to act or implement this accordingly. Okay, so physically, do you have shelter? Do you have enough sort of resources that allow you to feed yourself and your family for at least a week or two? Emotionally, do you feel safe with the people that you are with? Okay, if you're in a relationship where you don't feel safe, trust me, when shit hits the fan, it's not going to get easier, it's just going to get worse. So you may want to use this time now to reconsider things there as well. The same with job, but also with your spiritual beliefs, guys. To externalize your power to authorities such as presidents or aliens or whatever savior, is not really going to help you, through the practical needs, of sort of outer chaos. Okay, and energetically, preparedness has a very simple compass, and that is the less energetic stress, the easier it is for you to maintain inner peace, and the easier it is for you to maintain your higher vibratory alignment. So you really want to uncover and then bit by bit eliminate or learn how to eliminate these internal hidden programs and patterns that are wasting your energy. You know, I've compared this with having the air condition on full blast or the heater on full blast and having all windows and doors open, because this is how most of your guys' energy systems look like. So the main thing here for October will be to really embrace this correctional energy that comes in as your opportunity to learn and mature through this, and to really embrace every experience as a learning experience. The last comment that I wanted to make in regards to October energies, it's very, very cool for me, you know, when I go into a forecast of a year and I see things down the horizon that are so far away, you know, that I don't really pay attention to this, and I forget about it. And when it then reemerges, October will be the month for feminine power and the resolution of a powerlessness. Okay, we will see things happening here in our collective that bring in a deep healing. They bring it in. They don't, resolve the issues of powerlessness. But what I'm talking about is in the course of these crumbling power structures around us. Okay, some of the most pressing subjects, such as the injustice and the torture and the suffering that's being inflicted to parts of our population, that are, I don't mean this in a political sense. I really mean this in an energetic sense, that are more powerless, such as animals, such as children and women, will come to our full awareness. 80 to 90% of these cases, assault, sexual assault, any kind of bullying, any kind, on whatever level, 90% of this never gets reported. And why is this? Because of the existing power structures, because we feel powerless, and because it makes us feel guilty. Okay, I want you to feel this energy coming in here. This will lead to, the new strategies, and it has to, because this is part of the shadow in our societies. That we have all these nice ideas about future societies, and we have all this spiritual, sort of utopia in our head, and yet we think it's nothing wrong. Assault is never okay. Degradation is never okay. Bullying is never okay, guys. This is truth. And the fact that we cannot feel this, and that we think it's normal, and we talked about this in length here in the workshop at TRANSCODES last week, about addictions and recovery, and how our sense of normal can be really skewed, through some of our traumas in our upbringing. Our sense of normal is not based on truth, and this has to change. And October is going to bring in those energies like a steamroller. So I hope that, even though there was, some gloomy parts to this, or seemingly gloomy parts, that this is an empowering message for all of you to really go into this self-mastery and self-responsibility, for your life, and that you can, embrace this. And, if this is something that you would like to illuminate on a deeper level, obviously this is what we do here at TransCODES. This is what I do for a living. So please ask for a free coaching session here with me. Consider things, programs that we have in place. We have what we call a Heart Warrior program. That's a 3-month program where we help those of you who want to go through an active transformation, change in your life, be it divorce, be it changing jobs, forming a new company, or all of it together. We still have 1 spot left for October. And then those of you who are, considering maybe going into wanting to be of service of some kind, and learning how to read energies, and how to, become, maybe a better coach or a better counselor or a better doctor or a better friend, or, or, whatever it is that you would like to improve on, consider our TransCODES training program starting in January. This is for people who have never, who don't have a history of or any pre-qualifications in energy healing. And this will be the last year, 2019, that I will be teaching this myself. Okay, so see these programs that we offer here as sort of the last practice round. Okay, at some point, you guys gonna have to go out and not all of you, obviously, but provide this for others. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here. I hope I didn't come across as too sort of patronizing or anything like this. No judgment. Take the energies as they come. Be flexible, and take every experience as a learning experience to improve, mature, and correct in October. Wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.